Our guest today is Marci Hopkins. You're a TV host, recovery advocate, the creator and host of Wake Up with Marci, which is the award-winning talk show that shares stories of healing and hope. And you also are the author of Chaos to Clarity, Seeing the Signs and Breaking the Cycles, where you open up about your own journey through addiction and recovery. And I want to thank you so much again for being here.
Thank you. Great to be here. Yeah.
You're talking about how you're helping high schoolers with preventative action.
Yeah.
And you're leading walks about alcohol stigma awareness. Tell me a little bit before we get into your TV show and your book about like what you've been up to recently with all that.
Yeah. So recently I have partnered with an organization called Shatterproof. And they're an amazing organization and they're nationwide and they have these walks. And so they're bringing awareness to, first of all, addiction, what it is, and breaking the stigma around the conversation, around the topic of substance use disorder, because really the only way we're going to create change is by having the conversation and getting educated, which I think is also a big reason why younger people are choosing to not drink as older generations are or do. Because there's more awareness around it and we don't have to be shameful about it. Also, learning about the science-based recovery that's available in a lot of the rehab facilities.
Yeah.
But it's not in all. So it's really understanding, and it's in all the medical books, but people, again, were talking about it. It's like the science is there, how we can move through recovery and why we become addicted, this disease that we have of addiction. But again, it wasn't being discussed like cancer, diabetes, whatever the main diseases out there. But the reality is there's like 46 million people that suffer with substance use disorder in the United States.
Okay.
And so it's so necessary that we are having these conversations and we help others to realize that we need to change the narrative and we need to change the thought process that it's shameful. And so that's why I'm involved with Shatterproof. This is something that they do, changing bills in the government and to help those in the recovery space. Also, in New Jersey, there's a smaller organization called Prevention Links. And they help those in the community and bring awareness, those in recovery. They help the families, right? Because it's not just a one-person disease, it's a family disease. And they also help youth, young people, like those teenagers. I mean, teenagers are suffering. And so they're helping to give the tools, the resources available. They've also opened a high school to help those that are suffering. And so they don't have to be in the mainstream and be triggered. And that's really, really so much of why we relapse and we a lot of times don't get sober because we don't create the change in our lives, and we have to change the people, places, and things
that surround us.
Exactly. So, to help with the cravings, to help with the triggers, and to help just to change the habits in our brain.
Yeah. So what do these so it's like a high school for kids who are being sober.
Young people that are sober.
Young people, yeah. What do they look like? Is it like an off branch of specific high schools, or is it like its own entity?
It's its own entity.
Okay.
I've not been there before.
Okay.
Just started working with Prevention Links. I really love what they're doing. They're going to Red Ribbon Week is coming up, and that's where awareness is brought around substance use disorder, mental health, and bringing awareness, what's available, educating people, tools, resources. And so they have a walk that's in Union, New Jersey, and I have an opportunity to speak there, so I'm super excited about it.
Oh, that
So
would be great.
it's really just in all the work that I do. I want people to start realizing that you have to talk about it. You have to get educated. You have to ask for help to get the help. You cannot stay isolated in this drug, in this disease, and also with mental health. I mean, there's so many mental health disorders is one of the number one things that we are dealing with in the United States for our youth and adults.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking a little bit earlier about how the stigma, it's still there, but it is a little bit different between generations. Like I'm talking about when I look at my generation and I look at like my world of comedy or whatever, a lot of people think that, you know, alcoholism is still like a very encouraged thing. People look back to old comedians like Chris Farley, Sam Kinison, and they're like, oh, watch out around the clubs, you'll be drinking. But I look around a lot of my friends and I'd say a majority of them are completely sober.
Yeah.
How, in your personal experience, because you've been around this world so much, have you noticed a difference in change, in the push for sobriety between generations? Like, do you think younger people are generally more receptive to it than older individuals?
Well, I think they're more receptive, but I also think that their behaviors are different. I think that drinking's not as important to them. I mean, it's down, like with Gen Zers recently, I read it's down 25% drinking.
Yeah.
And so alcohol sales is down. You know, I mean, Gen Zers are having a real impact, right, in the marketplace. But it's for the positive, right? Because mental health is so important. You're allowed to talk about your emotions. You're understanding health and wellness, what that means, our mindset, and being more open about the conversation. And with COVID, while you were isolated, you had to find other things to do, right? Because you weren't going out for a drink. So it was like you started realizing, and also my generation, that experiences were more important. It wasn't like going to the bars or let's get a drink after work or the happy hour. Like you started changing your mindset around being together socially.
Yes, because we're locked in with our parents for 3 years. We're like, I'm not just going to down 8 beers with my dad here.
Right.
You know, I got to find a board game or something.
Well, but I mean, drinking was elevated for a lot of people during that time.
Oh, for sure.
But then it was like, wait a minute, what am I doing?
Yes.
Right? So it was like, then it was like this complete shift. Like, I got to change my drinking habits.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, I remember that because my last 2 years of college were COVID. And I remember the first like 8 months or whatever, I'm back home and I'm doing school remote. And I'm like, oh, this is great. This is great. But then 8 months go by and I've been drinking 3 days a week again, like with my dad and brother. And I'm like, we're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And then I start to think about what do I do when I drink? And especially since college, it's like a lot of times that is the activity, is just getting drunk.
That's the activity.
That's the whole thing. It's literally the whole thing. And then you take away drinking. It's like, what do we do? It's like, oh, I pretended to watch UFC for 2 hours, you know? You don't really do anything. But that's one of the things I really liked about learning about your book's message was you talked about alcohol as an addiction and you coincided it with what you called like mental health addictions. Like you called it like you were addicted to the excitement of a fresh start and attention and approval. Yeah. So I think a lot of people, when they think about addictions, they think about it in relation specifically to a substance, like something physical, like booze. So I'm just wondering if you could take me back a bit and tell me a little bit about like what early in your development made you what you call addicted to the same, like at the same level to approval and to needing that fresh start as alcohol, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so in my early years, my mother had me really young. And so she was 19 when she had me. So I can't even imagine, right? So she's like, and it's 69 when she had me, right? So like, we're like hippie time and drinking, love, and peace, and smoking pot, and so she was caught up in that, and pulling me along wherever she went.
Yeah.
And ultimately, when I was 6 years old, one of her boyfriends, or not one, her boyfriend at that time, because she had the same problem. She had no self-esteem, so it was all about having a man in her life. And she also was an alcoholic. So she had me over at his house, and anyway, he ultimately beat me. And when we went to my grandparents that day for a party, I was told to be quiet, right? Not to share with my grandparents. And something else happened, and I'm 6 years old, so I ended up telling my grandmother in tears. And through that, my grandparents offered me the opportunity to stay with them. So I decided to stay with them. Remember telling my mother that I made that decision to stay with my grandparents. And really, I guess that would be the first time that I'd say my heart was broken and the abandonment started, because first of all, my dad wasn't in the picture, and then feeling like my mother didn't fight for me, right? It's like making all through my life, I always felt like she was choosing a man and her disease over me, but I didn't understand the disease, right? So I lived with my grandparents for about 6-7 years, and then my mother remarried. I ended up moving in with them, and I was 12 at the time. And I was basically, through all that time, had been introduced to alcohol. My mother would drink all the time, and let's say I had a stomach ache or I couldn't sleep, like she would offer me a sleeping pill or a drink of her alcohol. Like, so it's just crazy, like how you become almost programmed. Like that's what you go to when you're happy, you're sad, your stomach hurts, you got to go to sleep, right? Like
Any sort of relief.
That's the answer.
Yeah.
Right. That's the answer. And for her, it was. So that's what she's passing on to me. And then she remarried, and I thought, like, wow, like we're finally going to have that great life. And believe it or not, 12, 13, I'm like drinking with them. And then there was sexual abuse that started with my stepfather. And my mother didn't leave. I did end up telling her a couple of times. And so because of my childhood and the sexual abuse, like I had no self-esteem. I had a lot of shame. I'd lost myself completely. I didn't know who I was. So I thought that if a man or a boy showed me attention, that was what love could look like, right? So I just craved love so much. And attention. So validation from a guy was like something that was priority one for me. And so relationships, I became addicted to relationships, addicted to getting the validation and attention from guys to give me my worth. And then the fresh start was I would be in a situation, maybe I'd be in a relationship, or maybe it was when I was in work, or maybe I lived in a certain place, and things would start falling apart in that situation, and I would become very unhappy, and I would change my people, places, and things so that I then could have a new start, because if I had a new start, then I would be happy. Right? So I was always seeking happiness and validation from everything outside of myself.
External sources,
right? Versus now that I'm sober and I've done the work, I know that's all an internal job.
I mean, it started so early, and it's so hard to have like a sense of self-clarity. At what age do you think like you recognized this was a pattern? Not necessarily the age you got out of it, but the age like just as someone who has like alcoholism in his family and who has a lot of friends who have alcoholism, and I know it's comorbid. It's not just alcoholism, but a lot of my friends who are now sober said that they knew that they were alcoholics, or they knew they had these problems for years and they still were in the pattern.
Yeah.
When do you have an early memory of like recognizing this
Oh my gosh.
as a problem?
For all my drinking years, I always watched what other people drank. I always compared myself. I was always like, am I normal? Am I not normal?
Yeah.
I knew I prioritized alcohol a lot of times. Everything I did was around alcohol. I would have probably chosen alcohol over a lot of people and situations.
Yes.
It was just such a huge part of my life. And even, I mean, you talk about your friends that have gotten sober early on. I did try to get sober in my early 20s.
Yeah.
I had gotten a DWI, and I knew that it had gotten out of hand. But I did go to AA because it was forced by the courts.
Okay, it was legally. Okay.
Yeah, right. So I had to go to AA. And so I thought, well, I'll try this out. I mean, I think obviously not happy.
Yeah.
I've gotten a DUI, and I can't figure out this school thing because I wasn't like college. It was an escape for me. Like once I got out of my house with my mom, it was an escape. And so even when I would try to get away from drinking and drugs at that time, because it was all about clubbing, it was like the late 80s, I would always find myself back in that situation. But so when I did get sober for about 3 months, I decided I was with a guy that I ended up getting engaged with and moved to Colorado with and such. But is
this starting to end up after your DWI?
Yeah.
This is after. Okay.
So like I got my DUI, I decided to go. I didn't get sober right away, but I was working. I did have a good job. Like it's the irony of it is at that time, now that I think about it, I was working for Liberty Sports Communications. I had gone through the Art Institute. I did start in my industry, which was television. I started going out with a guy that I really thought I was going to marry.
Yeah.
And I got a DUI, and so we decided to try to stop drinking together. And we did that for a while. And I'll never forget, we were out on the beach and we were actually staying in a tent. And I was like, I don't know, like, should we drink? Like, I don't know. Are we okay?
Because how long had it been?
It'd been 3 months,
3
right?
months, yeah.
Right. So we decided to drink. And I remember feeling like really weird about it, but you start drinking slowly, and right, I got this under control. And then anytime I would be unhappy or stressed at work, I mean, and alcohol was just always the answer.
Yes.
Always the answer. So, but I always knew that alcohol was a problem for me.
Yeah.
But then I would get to a place where I would manage it.
Yeah. Like
Right.
doing quick sober stints, or comparing yourself to others and being like, oh, they're doing the same amount as I'm doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or I would cut back, but I still drink every day.
You still drank every day?
Every day. Like,
what did it look like? Was it like getting drunk every day, or
No,
was it like
it
just
was
a casual buzz at the end of the day?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So get home from work, have a couple glasses of wine.
Okay.
Cook dinner, have a glass of wine with dinner.
Yeah.
That was every night.
And how often were you getting like binged,
Weekends.
Weekends. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless I was by myself, then I would drink more.
If you were by yourself, you would drink more. Okay.
Right. Because then, like, the guy, I didn't have somebody kind of monitoring me.
Yes.
So it was kind of like I'd let loose and drink how I wanted to.
Oh, okay. So you would
Yeah.
see your partner as almost like a parent in certain senses, where they would watch you, would
Always.
validate you.
I used to always say that to my husband.
Yeah.
You're not my father. But I
Yes.
always saw that you're like a parental figure. Like you're going to
Yes.
keep me in check.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's such like a psychoanalytic thing. Do you think you're kind of like, oh, because you're early 20s, you're still young.
Yeah.
You're like 23.
Yeah.
And you're obviously like successful in your career. Do you think you have the time and or like practice of self-analysis to sort of be aware of like, oh, maybe I'm trying to fill this hole with certain
No.
kinds? You don't think you did at that point?
Not really, because I knew that I was always trying to be in control and have the power because that was taken from me for so long.
Yeah.
But it's funny when you build these walls up around yourself and you think you're so strong and you're so powerful, but you're really the victim and you're really so weak.
Yes.
And you're just hurting yourself and hurting the people around you.
Yeah. Like you think you're like almost like clapping back against the man in a way. you
Yeah,
know?
like you're no one will harm me again.
Yes.
That's what it really is.
Yes.
Like I'll do anything to protect myself. And I'll do anything to survive. And I'll do anything to make sure that, for me anyway, is that I was going to be someone, I was going to be a success.
Totally. So I guess maybe take me into like, because you had like a hot start to your career. Take me into like where the lines may be blurred for you between like having a healthy chip on your shoulder and like a natural ambition versus like trying to fill some hole or maybe exacerbating this need for validation that the media space might be attractive for, you know?
Listen, I'll tell you this. When I worked for Fox, I did really well. I mean, I ultimately became the director of on-air promotions in LA for FX.
Yeah.
Like, I did well. I still don't know how, but I did. And I was all the while drinking, started going out with one of the executives there. Like, my life looked pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Right? And then I ultimately got married and started having kids. And again, life still looked good. You know, I was not my mom. I was not my mom. So I was managing it, right? How many of us, especially like women in their 40s and such, or even men, like doesn't matter, like you're functioning, you're doing well, you're in the community, you got work, your father, your mother, you're participating in the schools. Like even if you're drinking every day, you're still doing these things.
Yeah.
So I would always like try to compare. I'm like, I'm not my mom. I'm not passing out. I'm not blacking out. I got my stuff together.
Yeah.
Even though I took those dips and I knew like, wow, like this doesn't look good. I better try to figure this out. Right.
What are those dips? Do you think those...
Meaning like drinking too much and it starts to affect the relationships in my life, the relationship with my husband, how I felt about myself. Like,
Did it affect your work at all early on?
Well, it did affect my work because I would be tired. Like, I always think to myself, like now, like if I was, rising up the ranks during that time when I was drinking and not fully in, how well I would have done if I had a clear mind without the fog the next day.
Yes.
Yes. It's been crazy, right?
Yes. That was my whole thing in college was I'd be like getting decent grades, but I'd have this like kind of like degenerate thought where it's like I'd be deathly hungover.
Yeah.
And I'd be doing class, but in the back of my mind I'd be like, oh, it's good because I'm in class and I'm doing something hungover. I'm killing two birds with one stone. I'm getting not hungover and doing class at the same time.
Right.
But then I look back, I'm like, if I was able to pass that, like when I was not a human being, just just reeking of alcohol, I can't even imagine how well I would have done.
Right?
If I was just a normal, sober, person.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
But you
and
still
then,
managed to balance it in a way.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. But then, so I got married. We had 2 kids. I'm living in New Jersey at this time. So my husband, I retired, right? So to be a mom and all of that. Mm-hmm. So I left Fox and we moved from California to New Jersey. And my husband was working in the city. And so I'm at home And again, I've always been a very driven person. I love my kids. I mean, all I knew is that I wanted to be a good mom, but I always needed something more. I tried the PTO thing and all of that, and just talk about toxicity. Like, that's just crazy toxic.
What do you, the pay time off thing? What do you mean the PTO thing?
That's the parent-teacher organization at the school.
Oh, okay.
So, right, you're volunteering, you're on the board there, you're involved, like...
Talk about toxicity.
Oh, my God.
Some serious personalities in that group. Yeah. I think I've heard stories. My dad's a high school teacher. He has to deal with all those.
Oh, don't deal with the parents, right? It's these women. So some things started happening, and I ended up deciding to get in front of the camera in my 40s.
Okay.
So I didn't get in the front of the camera until my 40s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was always worked on the network side, but never in front of the camera.
Okay.
So now just a couple of things started happening in my life, and I started going after commercial print. So, because I was like, I'm in my 40s, what can I do? And I had like this woman come in that helps models, and you're like, commercial print, you would be amazing. You could do commercial acting, this and that. So I started doing that. I got agents right away and started going into the city for auditions. And, but I mean, my God, the nerves. I had no self-confidence.
And so what do these auditions look like?
So you go into the city, like,
read?
What's that?
Are you doing like cold reads and
Well,
stuff?
like you walk in, and it's like they give you like a piece of paper, and they say, here's the scenario of the commercial.
Yeah.
And if you had a certain look, so imagine 50 women that look like me, you know, moms, you know, and we all have to go in, and if it's for a picture, you have to pose and have different looks on your face, or you have to read copy. And remember, I'm going in, and like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I got to look.
Yes.
But I have no experience.
Yes.
So I am out of my mind. I don't barely perspire, and my armpits, I mean, the rings, it was crazy.
What's making you seek this out, though?
I don't,
The adrenaline of having to do all this, you think?
I think, wanting
to get back to work?
It was that, but it was just like the drive of the dream of when I was 16, I wanted to be a model. That's what I wanted to do. And my mom actually took me for comp card. I went to Ford and went through the modeling classes and everything. And then she just never pursued it and went, I needed her help, and she only did so much.
Yeah.
So it was just a dream, and there was a fire in me, and I decided to go after it.
Okay.
Okay. Now, fast forward, I know now that I've needed all the experience that I gained to do what I do now.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So God took me on this path, may look crazy, not understanding why I'm doing it, successful, learning all these things, but to ultimately do what I do now and start my own TV show. Like, like, who just starts a TV show? Like, that I had to learn a lot, and I just kind of harnessed all the knowledge I had and started this.
How long were you doing commercial acting before you got into Coffee with Marci and Wake Up with Marci?
Right. Well, impressive. You remember Coffee with Marci and Wake Up. It's so funny. I started Coffee with Marci, and people now, 9 years later, are still calling me, "Hey, Coffee."
No way. That's so funny.
Wake up.
Yes.
Wake up.
Yeah.
But it was really big in the community. But so what happened? I actually getting in front of the camera was my demise, because I started using alcohol as liquid courage.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's really like all of the trauma, the self-esteem issues, just feeling embarrassed, but it was about the validation, right?
Yes.
If I can get in front of the camera and people want me this way, like, that is ultimate validation.
So that's how it's triggering you back. Do you think you had alcohol relatively under control when you were just doing PTO and you're not back on the camera like that?
Because it was, I still was drinking every day.
Yeah.
But it was like a couple glasses of wine at night.
Yeah.
It was manageable.
Yes.
My husband may not have liked it as much, but
Yeah.
it was manageable.
Yeah.
But it was when I started doing that and I was like, maybe I could have a glass of wine before I go on an audition.
Yes.
And it'll help me with the nerves.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Do you think that made your auditions better at the time?
No, I don't think so.
For me, if I do anything, if I try to go on stage and I'm drunk, I'm flopping around.
No, of
And
course,
it's
because you can't
horrible.
think.
You can't think. You're
You're
literally
like,
dumber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really are.
But it does quell the nerves. At what point, I guess, did you kind of stop? Like,
Well, I stopped because my last gig that I did, I got a DUI.
okay, so you got so this is where my timeline was different.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the one in your early 20s.
Yes.
Oh, so this was the DUI that you think
When I
that
was
like
45.
your changing point? Okay.
That was it.
Okay.
That was it. But life was bad. Life was bad.
In what
I had
sense?
gone to AA a year prior to getting, basically a year to the date. I had gone to AA and I was sober for about 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And but I was very unhappy. Like my husband and I were not doing great, and I knew that I was like questioning my drinking all the time and not making good decisions. And I was up at night, like trying to figure out any way to normalize my drinking, but not stop drinking. Right.
Yes.
So acupuncture, hypnosis, like there had to be something else that could help me instead of me going to AA.
Yeah.
Right. But then I did ultimately go to AA, and I was there for about 3 months, and my husband and I went on a vacation. Everyone around me was like, I don't know, Marci, I've never thought of you having a drinking problem. Like,
See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Because you're practicing moderation.
Yeah.
But the idea of moderation, you're still doing it all the time.
right.
One drink, that's the thing that took me maybe till like 3 months ago to figure out. It's like one drink affects you.
Yeah.
You know, one drink,
Yeah.
it does matter.
Yeah.
You know, what made you, was it one turning point that initially made you do that first AA meeting?
So, like I said, I did the
When
AA
you
for
were-
about 3 months.
Yeah.
And then I remember my husband and I were going to a Halloween party. And I was like, I really don't think I have a drinking problem. I think I'm okay. I've been going to these meetings. I'm listening to the stories. I am not those people.
Yeah.
I am not.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I think that I can manage this. And so, like, we went to the Halloween party. I had 1 glass of wine the entire night, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm just trying to monitor it. And then it was like, then I started using the liquid courage, like for the auditions,
yeah.
for the gigs. I started surrounding myself with people that were drinking a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I was drinking alone. I was bringing my thermos into the city. I had a lot of resentment because, well, when I decide to do something, I go all in. And
Yes.
but everything was in the city. So, but I wanted to be there for my kids because I never wanted them to feel what I felt. So I never wanted them to feel abandonment. So I had to be there for them.
Yes.
But yet I'm trying to go after this career where I was going to schooling in the city. I had to be in the city for auditions. I had to be available for gigs. I had agents, like I was at beck and call.
How far is the city?
So it was 25 miles, but to go into New York, it's like the traffic is always a nightmare.
Crazy.
So you have to give yourself at least an hour.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I would get the information the night before,
Yeah.
right? Like you got to be there, right?
Yes.
So it was just like constant chaos.
Yes.
My life was chaos all the time. And between trying to be with my kids, trying to be there for my kids, trying to manage the drinking that was getting way off the charts, be there for the agents, be there for the schooling that I wanted to take. Then there was resentment because my husband was never around. I didn't have the help that I needed. Like it was just, and perimenopause started. So like my whole world was falling apart. Like it was a terrible time.
Yes.
Terrible.
Yes.
Like I don't think it could get much worse.
And doing all of that hungover a lot of the time. Too.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like that adds in.
and like just living the victim I was the victim all the time,
Oh,
right?
God.
So that last day I drank was October 3rd, 2015. So here we are. It's almost October 4th.
10 years?
10 years.
No way.
Woo!
High five. That's freaking awesome.
Actually, what's today? Is
It's
today
the second.
second? So
Second.
tomorrow's the 3rd. Right.
What?
I know. So that last day of drinking, in a fog, wake
Yeah.
up in the morning. I'm going for the gig. I'm modeling clothes at the mall. You know where you see the runway shows where I don't know if you see it, like you go to the mall much, but they have these models that walk the clothing, to sell to everybody there.
Okay.
So I have that gig. I end up going, and of course I have my thermos.
What's in
Okay.
the thermos?
Wine.
Wine.
Right.
White wine?
White wine.
Okay.
Chardonnay was my thing.
Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I remember I get to the mall and I'm going up the escalator and I'm like, Marci, you don't need it. I'm telling myself I do not need this wine.
As
That
you're
I
carrying
can
it up.
do it.
Yeah, okay.
I can do it on my own. Now I get upstairs. I'm at the wrong frickin' mall.
Oh, God, dude.
I'm at the wrong mall. So now I am in the most chaotic state, jump in my car, and I frickin' start drinking that wine.
To calm the nerves
To
of the
calm
drive.
myself as I'm driving.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
And speeding.
Yes.
Oh my God, just to even think of it, it's just like unbelievable.
And so how did the cop catch you?
So what
Swerving or
happened was I got there, I walked the show, I had a girlfriend that met me. We ended up going out afterwards. Now I'm barely eating anything because I'm drinking on my calories.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we went to lunch. Now we're going to lunch. I've already had half a bottle of wine.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so we go to eat. She gets a burger. Now I get fish, and I'm eating like a little bit, like half of the fish. I get a martini. Well, now we're drinking martinis. And then, and I think I had a glass of wine. And then we're leaving. Now I'm heading home. Okay, like I shouldn't have been driving. I know that.
But you already had one success driving there, so you're like, let's just finish it off.
Well, she calls me.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, do you want to stop and have one more drink? And I'm like, okay. Like, my kids are with a babysitter.
Yeah.
My husband's out of town. He's going to be home late that night. I think, oh, wow, woo, party.
Does she know you've been pre-gaming?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
So we get to this other restaurant. Now, we have a glass of wine. And I remember I told her, I said, Mary, I got to eat something. I'm starving. We order another glass of wine. I think I might have ordered food.
Okay. I was like, you said in lieu of food, you ordered
No.
another glass. Yeah.
I think I ordered some food, or I was going to go order food. And then I guess she got up and went to the bathroom, and I got up and left. I don't remember. I went in a blackout.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm on the road.
I got to go home blackout.
I
Classic.
and I didn't even know that I had done this. And somebody called in an erratic driver.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I don't even know. I swear to God, there was an angel driving my car. There had to have been, So I somehow get to Wyckoff and I pull over and I am on somebody's yard and the cops come.
Wait, you get to Wyckoff and you pull over like
So,
into
like,
someone's lawn.
Yeah, so like I get off and now I should have turned left, but I turned right and I went off on a street. I think I must have gotten confused which way to go.
Oh my God.
So I didn't know where I was at that point.
Okay. And you hit the lawn. Do you remember what point do you remember?
I'm sitting there and I'm looking for something in my car, right? And then but I'm still in my blackout. Now the cop, I've been called in, right? So they know, and it was around Wyckoff.
Mm-hmm.
And they have my plate number. So they're driving everywhere. I guess they probably have it out to every cop, right?
God.
And so they saw me parked on the street, half in the yard.
Oh.
And so needless to say, I was arrested.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, I dealt with a lot of shame, a lot of guilt. It was such an awful time in my life. Awful. I went to bed that night, and I was pissed. I'll say poor me right? Everybody else does this. Why do I get caught? My husband was around this. I wouldn't be like this, you know. But I woke up the next morning and it was something different. It was like this shift and just surrender. And I was like, I'm about to lose everything I have built. And for what? Right? Like alcohol that destroyed my mother and now is about to destroy everything I've built.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Marci, you're an alcoholic. You need help. And so I was in the guest room and I went downstairs and my husband was awake and we sat down on the couch and I knew like he was going to leave me, like he was going to take the kids and leave me. And I wouldn't have blamed him. But I told him, I said, I'm an alcoholic and I need help. And I remember just start bawling and he embraced me. And it was that love that I'd been looking for my whole entire life. And it was right there in front of me.
Yeah. And you didn't have to earn it.
No. It was just like the fact that he just embraced me. And like, I'm going to tell you, it was when I say like the weight of the world came off my shoulders, there was such a lightness in that moment, even though it was such a terrible time.
Yeah.
It was the most beautiful moment. And I went to AA that day and never looked back.
Okay. Wow. That's amazing.
That was it.
So you had that moment of recognition followed by like that moment of acceptance by your husband. When you had that initial moment of recognition, was your sort of self-realization, my problem is worse than other people's, or like other people's who aren't alcoholics, or that you don't care what other people's habits were, it's not working for me right now?
Correct. It was no comparison anymore.
Comparison
it was
flies
like,
out
I'm
the window.
Screwed. I've got to get this under control. And I can't control it.
Yeah.
My mother's an alcoholic. My dad's an alcoholic. Like my grandfather, my uncle. Like it's just rampant in my family.
Yeah.
And I can't control it. So I have proved that.
At what point do you think, like, because there is this whole idea of rock bottom, and I was talking to one of my best friends who had his own rock bottom like 2 years ago, and I don't know if you've seen that. There's the show BoJack Horseman. It's like an adult cartoon. It's about an alcoholic.
Okay.
And one of the messages it has is that the idea of rock bottom is a myth, and you can always have a deeper rock bottom.
I could have had a deeper one.
Yeah.
I could have had an accident. I could have killed someone. I could have killed myself. Like,
yeah.
I could have had a horrific.
Yes.
They're far worse. But for me, that was bad enough.
That was bad enough. Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think that maybe if someone has a little bit more, do you think that's where the role of awareness comes in? Like the role of having a rock bottom becomes almost unnecessary, you know? Because your rock bottom could have been worse, right?
Yeah.
But it sounded like that was the turning point that caused you to stop deluding yourself.
I needed a major consequence.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think people who are burgeoning alcoholics can avoid that major consequence? Like, can you do it like in the abstract, you know, like you talk about preventative action and stuff, like going with these walks?
Like that's such a, I don't know. I can't answer that question really. Yeah. You know, like I can't, I mean, we have to realize that these substances hijack our brains, right?
Yeah.
And there's so much that goes into rewiring our brain and getting our brains back chemically the natural way versus if we're putting the substance in our brain and we've got this dopamine fix all the time and then our bodies stop creating dopamine naturally.
Yeah.
And then also there's something called GABA, I believe it's what it's called. And so there's more of there's in our brains also, like we have the chemical that creates the calmness and then the one that creates the stress. And so there's something about when we put these substances in our bodies, the one that creates the calmness it doesn't produce as much anymore. So
And then
like
your
when
cortisol
right,
goes
so
up.
when we stop drinking, that's why you feel that stress. Your
Yeah.
body is just not creating the chemicals that create the calmness in your body anymore.
Is this part of the movement of like pushing scientific backed
I think it's
sobriety
important.
research?
I think it's really important that we
Yeah.
understand what is happening in our bodies. And
Absolutely.
also, if you're going to service an alcoholic in some way, you've got to understand what's happening.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Even just with those, have you seen those like trendy Oeuvre rings, I think they're called?
Uh-huh.
It's like you'll have one IPA or something,
Okay.
and then it shows like your level of sleep based on heart rate. And one IPA, it's like, oh, you're at 60% sleep. You got 40% worse sleep because you
Yeah.
had one beer.
Well, we think alcohol like helps us sleep, but the
No.
reality is you may fall asleep, but then it affects your sleep rhythms. So
Yeah.
you don't go into the deep sleep,
No.
right? So it's like it's so bad for us.
Yeah.
It's just really bad
That's
for us in so many ways.
That whole idea of like, yeah, oh, it's just one drink. It's like one drink fucks you up, you know?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
screws your day up.
Yeah. It certainly can. And so one of the biggest things for me is we quit drinking. Let's say we make the decision to quit drinking. Now we've got to do the hard work of reprogramming our bodies, reprogramming our brains. So most times if we are using something else, whether it's food, a drug, alcohol, shopping, social media, whatever it is, most times it all goes back to the reward system, dopamine. But most times you are masking something else that has happened that you are unhappy about in your life.
Yeah.
Right? So when you stop those things, now you have to rewire the brain and find different ways to cope in your life, different ways to think. Like I had to do a lot of healing, a lot of trauma healing. I had to, switch from that victimhood, a feeling of lack. I mean, if you would have looked at my life, you would be like, what the hell do you have to complain about, right?
Yeah.
But all I did was complain.
Yeah.
And so it's, switching that place of lack into gratitude. I talk a lot about that, and that's life-changing. Learning about energy work, how we are energy, and what we put out is what we receive. The spiritual work is so important. Whatever that looks like for you,
Yeah.
right? Like I was raised in church. I asked Jesus to save me. I believe Jesus did save me, but I also see God and understand God as an energetic field of love, ultimately love, and we are all connected by this love. And so when I connect to God and do my spiritual work, I feel that inside of myself. Like we are an extension of God, right? And then forgiveness. Like I had to forgive my mom. I had to forgive my abuser. I had to forgive the people that harmed me in my life. And then I also had to become aware of what I had done.
Yeah.
What is my part in all of this?
Yeah.
Because the reality is the only thing you can change is yourself.
Yes.
That's it. And it takes action. It takes work. And that's what I talk about in my book. Right now, God guided me to write this book, Wake Up, You're Not Broken. It's a companion to your first 30 days of recovery. That'll be out by April 2026, which
Okay,
is
great.
Recovery Month.
We'll put that in the notes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I want to give you a resource. Like, this is what your body's going through. This is what you're going to experience. This is what worked for me. This is the help that's available to you. This is what I learned in the 12 steps. That like what happens in those 30 days,
Yeah.
right? And that's what I want to help somebody to understand. Like you are not going mad. Like
Yeah.
this is happening, and this is why.
Yeah. So not back, but like when you first get sober,
Yeah.
you're kind of talking about like you used that one moment about your relationship to alcohol as almost like a grapevine into your relationship with validation and filling a lack. And it goes beyond just like recognizing that you have those. You also have to find ways to fill that void or close that void up, right? That are healthier. So you talk about faith and
yes, but it's also about going within. Again, everything is within us.
Yeah. Stop seeking output sources, external sources to fill that void. And
like what you think about me doesn't need to be my validation or my self-worth.
Yeah.
What I think about myself, how I love myself is more important than how you think about me.
Yes.
So it's learning that, right? Learning that you are worthy of that love. How can you fall in love with yourself, right? And that's through meditation, reconnecting with yourself, finding the things that light you up, going after those passions. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I really didn't know. I was always a chameleon. I wanted to do anything that you wanted me to do. But then also I'd get resentful about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is that whole idea of like being a chameleon is almost like you get in such a habit of conforming to what other people are doing. And like even my own drinking habits, it's like you kind of become a chameleon to whatever culture you're in college, in high school, post college, that you start to realize like, oh, what's working for Tom, Mr. Frat Guy, is screwing me over. And it's almost like a complete like personality 180 to find that. And you're saying like to stop being a chameleon and to be okay with yourself. You had your religious faith, and you had, I'm sure you had work, and I'm sure you had coffee with Marci to find purpose through that, right?
Right. So I mean, listen, for me, the 12 steps saved my life.
Yeah.
All right. I don't go to AA anymore. There's a lot of sick people there.
Yeah.
And I found I continue to find my healing in the work that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm right in that 11, 12 step. I'm always of service. I'm always connecting to God. I'm always trying to evolve as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I am powerless when it comes to alcohol. And I don't want to drink again. I know it's every day, right?
Yeah.
We're lucky to have each day that we have.
Yeah.
But just the idea, like I love that one tool, and I talk about all the tools, my toolbox. The one tool, pop in the tape. So if you think you want to have that drink, then play it out, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
Okay, I don't have a problem. Yeah, I could just have one. When have you really had just one, right? What ultimately happens? Are you going to wake up happy on the other side of that?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, so I love that one.
It's such a tool.
It
to
is.
be able to even just look ahead 1 hour.
Exactly.
Because I feel like a lot of times me and like my friends who have alcoholism problems, you really are just craving that first drink.
Yeah.
And then once that first drink passes, you're like, well, I broke the seal. I might as well down it. And then you wake up the next morning.
But I don't want to feel that way anymore. I don't want to
No.
feel that way about myself. And we talked about I want to be stupid anymore.
Yeah, no.
Right? Like I want my brain to be able to think and
Yes.
function at full capacity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've gotten a taste of it. I've seen it. I know that the success that I can have in life now. So I started off with coffee with Marci. I realized that I wanted to start giving back. And so that was a Facebook show. It was like, think about it, 9 years ago, I started going live on Facebook. Wow. And I started interviewing entrepreneurs in my community. And like it turned into a business. People like knew me, like they knew the show, they loved it.
Yeah.
And about a year in, somebody found me. Again, like all these things happen, right? That take you to the place where you ultimately should be. I believe fully that we all have a path in this life, and we all are supposed to be happy. But if we got to let go of our ego and let our higher power and have faith, right? Let somebody else drive the car.
Yes,
right.
That's where the powerlessness.
Stop trying to figure it out yourself. Right.
Exactly.
Right. So I did that. And so somebody found me. They wanted to put my show on a streaming network because they were like, nobody else is doing anything like this. And I knew the production side, so I was, trying to make it as best I could. And then he was going to this guy, he had a total TV background, and he was like, I'm going to start this show for this other person. I said, well, oh my God, I can't believe you said that, because I want to start a TV show. I want to do more. I want to share stories of transformation, right? Like, I went through this terrible thing.
Yeah.
I'm now starting to live this wonderful life. We all go through difficult times in our lives, but what do we do with it? I wanted to teach people that they could get through difficult times and share people's stories of how they did it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so that's how Wake Up with Marci was born. Wake Up is not just a morning show. Wake up your subconscious, right? We only process when we're awake, right? Like 10%. Our subconscious is like running 90% of what we're thinking and doing in our actions, right? So just being aware of that and reprogramming that. Because remember, we are programmed from the moment we come out of the womb.
Yeah.
By the people, the circumstances in our lives.
Yes.
Right? So our beliefs, our values, what we think about ourselves, like, you could have even had great parents, but like, really, are you a people pleaser? Are you trying to be perfect all the time? Because it was really just came down to if your parents were happy with what you were doing, and then your teachers were happy with what you're doing, and then your coaches were happy with what you're doing, then your bosses are happy with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, but are you happy with what you're doing?
Yeah.
You ever think about that? Are you proud of what you're doing? So I started Wake Up with Marci. And honestly, it just kept growing. It just got legs. And then I was on CBS Network, and then it started moving nationally. And wow. I was winning Telly Awards. I was winning Anthem Awards.
Yeah.
And just recently, I retired the show because I myself, after about 7.5 years, I've started living in different parts now. I live in New Jersey part of my life, and now in Florida. My kids are in college. My parents are deceased. My mom died of her disease. But anyway,
yeah.
And so I'm in Florida part of my life now in the winter, and I'm at the Jersey Shore. So I couldn't be. And it wasn't bringing the fulfillment to me anymore, the show, right? So I was like, what else can I do, right? I've been thinking about a podcast because you can take that anywhere. You can shoot it anywhere, right?
Yeah.
I had my book that was doing great, Chaos to Clarity. I was sharing with you, I'm in town because October 4th, I will be on stage finding out if I'm author of the year for my book, Chaos to Clarity.
That would be a good award for your 10 years.
My 10 years.
Yeah.
But right there, my book, Chaos to Clarity, Seeing the Signs and Breaking the Cycles. So I moved from chaos to clarity in my life. Seeing the signs is about seeing the signs from the other side. So I kept getting the nudges about writing the book, right? Things that we think about over and over and over. You're supposed to do those things.
Yeah.
Right? You keep pushing it away. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, it's not the right time. It keeps staying with you. So when is it going to happen? So that's what happened with the book for me. Because I'm like, who am I to write a book, right? Like, I mean, what the heck?
But that's your example of, you're saying your subconscious telling you got to write this thing.
Right, my higher power, right? My connection to my higher power. So I go outside. I had one final thing to happen, a nudge that happened. And so I go outside and I look up and I said, okay, God, I'm going to write this book. Okay, God. And I'm not lying when I tell you, a rainbow appeared in that moment. I had two love doves that flew up on my rooftop and they're just looking at me. And then like dragonflies are a big part of my story too. So a dragonfly flew by me.
How's the dragonfly part of your story?
So a year into, you'll see on my covers of all my books, any of my branding, I have a dragonfly necklace on. This is actually, my husband gave me this necklace when I was 1 year sober.
Oh, great.
I wear it all the time. So I live in Wyckoff. So we were living in this one house, and we decided to move because there was construction, a whole new neighborhood going up behind us. And I just was like, cannot live through that.
No.
And so we ended up moving to a new house. Now we just like had moved in, and I'm sitting by the pool, and I see this dragonfly like dipping its head in the water of the pool. And I look up, and there were hundreds of dragonflies. And it was the most magical thing that I'd ever seen. Wow. And it was just like that sign, like I already knew my angels were with me, but it was like that was all I needed. And it's like, I mean, dragonflies are about transformation. They're about being able to move in any direction. And so it was just like such a huge sign for me. And then I just started seeing them all the time, and it just kind of became my spirit animal, if you will, I guess.
It's funny because I feel like a lot of like, especially like practical minded, say people who don't have religion view like metaphorical signs as almost trivial. But in your case, your like openness to metaphor has had like a very tangible influence on your life.
Yeah. I mean, like, and I talk about them and I share them in my book.
Yeah.
Like some crazy stuff, like stuff that moves in my rooms. Like I can't even explain it. I sound like a crazy person, but the proof was there. It moved.
Yeah.
Not in front of me. Not in front of me, but it like moved in my room. But anyway, when I had my amends with my husband, we walked outside right after, and there were thousands of ladybugs.
Wow.
When have you ever seen that in your life?
No. Ladybugs too.
Thousands.
What?
Thousands.
What?
I know.
Yeah, that's seeing the sign.
Yeah, seeing the signs, breaking generational cycles.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we all have generational cycles, and we take it into our lives, and then we're giving it to our kids. And so I've broken the cycle.
Yes.
You know, with my family.
How do you handle getting external validation now? Do you kind of like...
Well, it's not negative validation.
Yeah.
It's not negative. So the negative validation was looking for men to validate me. This is validating or recognizing, not validating necessarily, because I actually am still in awe that I even won one award.
Yeah.
Like I never even saw myself. Like I'm really big into tarot too. I love getting readings. Like I love it. And I remember way back when they were like telling me, "You're going to win awards." And I'm like, "Me? I'm not going to win awards."
That's a good tarot reading.
Yeah, like it was like
you're going to die, you know.
Right. No. That well, I've been told in my 80s, so we'll see. I got that in my head. But I guess I'd say that it feels good. I'm not going to lie, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's pretty amazing. But I feel that the more recognition the book or the show gets, the better it gets more awareness around it.
Yeah.
So more people get the message.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not really necessarily about, it feels good, right? The ego. Of course it feels good.
It does, yeah.
Of course. I mean, but like even like thinking about winning Author of the Year on my 10-year sober anniversary, it's like you almost can't fathom that that's really even. I'm going to be on stage on my 10-year sober anniversary. I'm already a finalist.
Yeah.
Like I'm already a winner.
Yeah.
Like the fact that that's even happening.
Yeah.
But I also know, just from the things I've learned and the spiritual leaders and that I listen to and stuff, like you attract what you put out. So I'm putting out goodness to help other people. And so things are coming to me that I would never expect in my life.
Yeah.
So it's all possible for anybody.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Yeah. So it's like, Telly Awards, you submit your show for it. It's not like they just find you. Like you submit it, and then thousands of people submit, and then you're chosen or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so believing that my product, what I do, my brand, my message is worth that. I believe that. I work very hard. I don't even I don't care about money or anything. My message, my I guess success is about helping other people. And if I know I can help other people, I'm a winner.
Yeah.
I'm a winner.
Yeah.
But these amazing things are happening along that road.
Yeah.
That path.
Yeah, and you're not relying all of your mission statement or your self-worth on just the physical award itself.
No,
you know?
no. And honestly, I don't and I listen to Abraham Hicks a lot. So if you haven't heard of her, I'd say listen to her.
Mm-hmm.
She's amazing. And like she came into my life when it was time for me to hear her. I believe when we are ready to hear something, this person will come into your life. This message will come into your life.
Mm-hmm.
So I started listening to Abraham Hicks and just understanding that we have the power to energetically or law of attraction or manifesting what we want in our lives. So these things started coming to me. I started putting it out there. I started believing that I was worthy, and that they started happening. And anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Joe Dispenza is amazing too. I don't know if you've heard of Joe Dispenza. No. Like he got in a really bad car accident, and he was told that this is the incredible part of our minds. He was told that I think he had to have this surgery, and like he may not walk again, or he could die or whatever. Mm-hmm. He decided not to have the surgery on his back. I think it was on his back or something, his spine or something. So he decided not to have the surgery. He healed himself by his mind. And now he teaches others the neuroscience and how to do that.
Yes.
It's absolutely phenomenal.
It's the science behind manifestation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's real science behind it. It's not woo-woo.
Yes.
Like it used to be all woo-woo.
Yeah.
But it's literally they can what is it? They can actually measure it now.
Yeah.
Like the energy, what level you're putting off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at what extent did you, I guess, if we're talking about like taking control of your life, just as a summary of what we've all talked about here, at what percent do you think someone who's going through reevaluating their relationship to alcohol or reevaluating their relationship to other people, at what extent do you think they can manifest change from within like that? You know?
Well, listen, if you're in the midst of your addiction, you're not at a place. You have to have a clear mind.
You got to have a clear mind first, and then you can manifest what your subconscious tells you.
But that's where the healing comes in.
Yeah.
And you have to, it takes a long time for your body to heal from all the damage, right? So you got to allow your body to heal. I talk about that a lot. Like I slept a lot. Your morning routine, your self-care, and the things that make you stable in your life every day. And then once you get your legs again, that's when you can start doing the hard, deeper work.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Marci, your story it's so approachable, and thanks for putting it out in the world, especially for like younger people like me who are sober curious or looking around and trying to reevaluate their position with alcohol and other relationships. So thank you so much. Thanks for coming on here.
I just want to say one last thing, because I never thought I could live my life without alcohol.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was my answer to everything, even though it was destroying my life. Mm-hmm. The idea of never having alcohol in my life again was the scariest thing in the world. So if you are at a place to make this decision, I see you. I promise you, if you are thinking about making this decision, there's a reason. There's a reason. It's affecting your life. And life is so much better on the other side. There's so much happiness. So that drink's not bringing you the happiness.
No, it is not. No, it is not. All right. Thank you so much, Marci.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Appreciate you.
Eoin.